It's in the back. The shot is there and saves it! Touch from Zardes. Nagby hits it up to himself. It's an absolute calamity at the back.
So drain my bank account. I don't give a shit anymore, okay?
New Jersey Red Bulls versus the Chicago Fire.
The Red Bulls finally bagged in their first win of the season. A goal by Christian Cáceres and Golden Boy Caden Clark put them ahead of the Chicago Dumpster Fire 2-0. Caden Clark is a man on a goddamn mission right now. 2 goals in 3 games, and both goals being absolute stunners. That one he scored against Chicago was one of the best that I have ever seen. A perfectly placed karate kick to the bottom corner. Wax on and wax off. Rinse and repeat, guys. Caden is going to have a monster season this year, and by the end of it will most likely be playing abroad in a Leipzig jersey next to Jesse Marsch and Tyler Adams. Chicago, on the other hand, has to pick it up. Only 6 shots on target this whole entire game and currently sitting at the bottom of the table with only 1 point. Alvaro Madron played horribly on the wing. And same goes for Jonathan Bornstein down that left-hand side for Chi-Town. Again, if Chicago is going to have a big season, it's going to be due to Beric and Jimenez playing their socks off for the club.
Real Salt Lake versus Sporting Kansas City.
Are we living in the Twilight Zone or what? Real Salt Lake actually played good this season. Who would have saw that coming? Against Sporting Kansas City, they continued their winning ways and came out with a 3-1 dub. Rubio Rubin, double R, scored twice for RSL and was the Bench Kings man of the match. I guess he's still got it. Krylock also notched in one of his own and played a great game as well. Real Salt Lake are now 2-0 on the season, the only team that has yet to lose or tie a game. All W's on that game sheet. Another W to note is Real Salt Lake's new post-game tradition. After that David Ochoa fiasco at Minnesota last week, they doubled down. And now at the end of every home game, they punt a signed ball into the stands. Savage. The polar opposite of savage was Sporting Kansas City's play this game. And you can't blame their lineup either. They were sporting one of their strongest lines this season. Both Johnny Russell and Alan Pulido actually started this game, and even with these reinforcements, they still couldn't get the job done. Back to the drawing board for Peter Vermees.
Club de Foot Montreal versus the Columbus Crew.
Club de Foot Montreal, still undefeated on the season, and you could say absolutely dominated this game despite a 0-0 scoreline. Montreal were solid all around and to be honest should have scored a couple of bangers if it wasn't for their poor finishing ability. 20 shots on the day for Montreal and only 3 for Columbus. Lopsided to say the least. The offseason signing of Georgi Mihailovic from Chicago has been a godsend for this team as he's been looking good in all of Montreal's games. Also, Kamal Miller, another offseason signing from Austin FC, has consistently been putting on great performances as well. Columbus, on the other hand, played poor and should have lost this game clearly. They were even playing a strong lineup as well. The only 2 things that could possibly explain this major disappointment is match fitness or the absence of their star defender, Jonathan Mensah. Mensah is such another appreciated piece to the squad. We saw his absence play into effect in that CCL game against Monterrey, and now we are seeing it again in Major League Soccer. He can't get healthy soon enough.
The Houston Dynamo versus LAFC.
A 1-1 tie was all she wrote for this one. USL King Tyler Pasher scored the lone goal for Houston and Corey Barrett scored the single for LAFC. Barrett has been fairly great this season for LAFC so far and has slotted in quite nicely on the wings. Diego Rossi made his first start of the season, but it was a game to forget for the 2020 MVP runner-up. Carlos Vela is also still not in the starting 11 or on the bench. Still unsure whether this is due to an injury or Bob Bradley just being mad at him. One positive to take out of this game for LAFC is Edward Atuesta. The man was dynamite in the middle and is continuing to show why he's one of the most, if not the most important player on this team. Another player surprisingly on the bench was Darwin Quintero. Again, for the 3rd straight game in a row, Tab Ramos seems to be keen on not starting Houston's best player last year. Very odd decision by the coach. Another odd decision is that Boniek Garcia is still playing in the center back position. Just rocks my dome, bro.
The New England Revolution versus Atlanta United.
I thought Atlanta was going to be good this year, but it looks like I may be completely wrong. New England wiped the floor with Atlanta at Gillette Stadium and won 2-1. Carlshill is just too good right now and easily ran away with the Man of the Match award, if not the Man of the Week. A goal and assist from the magician in the middle. And this New England side is starting to look deadly and are currently first in the East with 7 points. God damn. It looks like, too, that Bruce Arena took a couple notes from our MLS Cafe episode, out now everywhere on all platforms, and started Buchanan, who also had a great game as well. It's that simple. Start Buchanan and earn a win.
Yeah, brother. Join Poppy Pablo and Billy Fuego, brother, and all your favorite Major League Soccer athletes, brother. Last episode, the boys talked to James Sands. This episode coming up, they chill with the top 10 Super Draft pick. You're not going to want to miss it. Where are you going to be when the Bench Kings drop amazing dope-ass content every Saturday morning? That's MLS Cafe. Where are you going to be, brother?
Anyways, Atlanta on the other side of that penny didn't really look up to snuff. Yes, I know Joseph Martinez didn't start, but you still gotta be able to play without him, and it looks like they can't.
Orlando City versus FC Cincinnati.
Listen, I really thought that FC Cincinnati wasn't gonna suck this year, but once again, it looks like we're wrong. Cincy got dismantled 3-0 in a relatively easy game for Orlando. Nani is still playing up to a Nani caliber, and Oscar Pereja is proving to the league that he is still one of the best. Every player had a solid game for the Purple Lions, and they look to be a real threat this season. They could use Daryl Dike later this season, but at the moment, Tesho looks to be playing just fine in that number 9 position. Can't wait to see NYCFC go toe-to-toe with the Lions next weekend. Should be a good one. Enough about Orlando, though. Let's turn our attention in the direction of Cincinnati. I thought Bernier would be enough, but that defense is just so bad. Conceding 10 goals in 3 games is unacceptable. In their last 2 games combined, they are 0-8 in goals. Nick Hagland and Tom Peterson is one of the weakest center back duos in the game. You can tell the loss of Kendall Waston this offseason hurt the team tremendously. Basically, to sum their squad up, offense is decent and defense is horrendous.
The Philadelphia Union versus New York City FC.
Here we go, boys. I know that Philly were playing down the man essentially that whole entire game, but even then, they look bad. NYCFC scored their first goal with Jesus Medina before the red card and their second with a Rabona from Castellanos. You didn't have to do that, Toddy, but I'll tell you, it tasted sweet. Oh, that taste was so sweet. Seeing that amount of filth on that goal against Philadelphia. Filthy, but tasty. NYCFC have looked great this year, and there's no signs of them stopping or slowing down. Jesus Medina is finally finding his form this season, and it couldn't have took him long enough. 3 goals in 3 games for the young lad. Super Saiyan levels. The Toddy to Palermo's rumors seem to be a farce, and James Sands is showing each and every game why he should have been picked for that Olympic qualifying squad, Major L. Philly, on the other hand, just look lackluster. They could beat Atlanta on the road 3-0 in the CCL, but can't put up a fight against New York City Football Club at home. Interesting. Very. Again, I said it before and I'll say it again. There's a real chance that Philly won't make the playoffs this season. I know, I said it. That's right. Come at me. What are you going to do? Come at me. 1 point in 3 games just isn't enough from the past Supporter Shields winners.
Minnesota United versus Austin FC.
Another game on the road and another win on the road. Highly impressive from this newly formed expansion team. Either Minnesota is really bad this season or Austin is just really goddamn good. First smashing Colorado last week 3-1, and now cleanly wiping the floor with Minnesota. The midfield of Alexander Ring and Tomas Pochettino is superb, and even Diego Fagundes has been playing exceptional as of late, as he now has 2 goals in 2 games for the men in Verde. The one man I gotta point out though on Austin is Jared Stroud. He was projected to be a depth piece coming into the season, but it looks like he's gonna hold down his starting spot. Looking back, he has been a great pickup in their expansion draft. Goddamn, what a beauty. I really don't know what's up with Minnesota though. 3 games and 3 losses for the Loons, currently sitting dead last in the league. I wonder about that wall. Reynosa has been absolutely abysmal this season, and Ramon Abia has not been able to fill Kevin Molino's shoes thus far. Also, the injuries to Dabasi and Ikapara have been detrimental to them in the back as well as my fantasy team. Wouldn't be surprised either if Ike just hangs up the cleats this season. The only shred of hope I see for this team is the addition of Huno from Stade Rennais. We'll see if he can get this team back on track, boys.
FC Dallas versus the Portland Timbers.
Dallas. They bounced back phenomenally after their catastrophic loss to San Jose the other weekend. Putting past 4 goals against Portland is a fantastic feat, and I love the way that Luchi Gonzalez mixes the new with the old in his lineups. A goal from Ricorte, O'Brien, Selly, and a double by Bresson put them ahead of the Timbers 4-1. This game, Dallas put up a clinic, and their finishing ability was on full display. Only thing I would want to see differently in this squad is for Paxton Palms to finally get a goddamn start. I feel like he's ready, and I feel many Dallas fans think the same way. You gotta unleash the goddamn beast. Dallas opposition. Portland just looked bland and tired out there. You can tell their CCL games are definitely taking a toll on the boys. No real standouts this game, and many great players were on the bench, including Diego Valeri, Werner Rankin, and Eric Williamson. If they started this game, could have looked a little bit different. But putting aside hypotheticals, Portland just got beat.
The San Jose Earthquakes versus DC United.
A team that has somewhat been on a goddamn tear this year is the San Jose Earthquakes. First beating Dallas 3-1 and now DC United 4-1, and this is all possible due to one player, Cade Cowell. The 17-year-old Greek god has been playing every single game like his life has been on the goddamn line. This game, he tallied in a whopping 3 points, tallying in a goal and notching 2 assists. He could be their Landon Donovan to take them to the goddamn cup this year, boys. Selly hard. By the end of the season, I fully expect him to be gone, and for a very high transfer fee. Who knows, maybe this is finally the year for the Quakes and for Matias Almeida. Also, Jackson Ewell has been showing up every single game as well for this squad, and the partnership of him and Remedi in the middle is proving to be a strong one. San Jose looks to be a dark horse this season. On the flip side, DC United look to be quite opposite. Yes, they beat NYCFC opening weekend, but since then has looked uninspiring. Hernan Lozada has got his hands full this season, and I fully expect DC to not make the playoffs this year. Sorry, not sorry.
Nashville FC versus Inter Miami.
2 past expansion clubs going head to head. We thought it was gonna be a thud, but it turned out being a dud. No goals were scored in this relatively boring game. Some standouts for Nashville were Ronda Leal in the attack and Walker Zimmerman in the back. If you're a Nashville fan, a positive to take away from this game is at least you guys didn't concede. The first 2 games of the season, Nashville conceded 4 goals at home, which is unacceptable for such a good defensively sound team a season ago. If Nashville is going to find success like they did their inaugural season, their defense is going to have to step up and be more reliable. Inter Miami, on their other hand, were missing 2 key players this game, being the brotherly duo and lovers of Gonzalo Higuain and Federico Higuain. This was due to their mom passing away last week. Very sad news to hear from the Higuain household, especially after that phenomenal last game that they played together. You could tell the absences of these 2 Dons really watered down the team. Pizarro was essentially forced to play as a number 9, and to put it lightly, he sucked. Also, Matuidi had a poor performance in the midfield. What else is new? He has not looked like a DP since coming into this league, and Inter would make that case that he is still not one.
The Seattle Sounders versus the LA Galaxy.
This was the most highly anticipated match of the week. 2 giants going head to head. Unfortunately for the Galaxy, Seattle was Goliath and LA was David. They got absolutely stomped. Seattle ended up winning the game 3-0 and is shushing all of the haters, including myself and my co-host. Raul Ruiz-Diaz had a double and Brad Smith scored one as well, making that 2 goals in 2 games for the wingback. Christian Roldan also had a great game in the midfield and showed why he has always been the better Roldan brother. Ladero also made a long-awaited cameo in the second half. and if he started this game, could have been even uglier for Los Angeles. LA just looked outclassed and couldn't break down the Seattle defense. Chicharito had a fantastic opportunity in the second half, but flubbed it wide, making it seem like his first 2 games were a fluke. You know it was fun when it lasted, but now Chicharito is back to reality. Surprisingly, Victor Vasquez played the best for the Galaxy in our opinion and has been having a fairly decent season. Great pickup from Greg Vanney, and I expect them to make a couple more signings this summer, ladies and gentlemen.
The Vancouver Whitecaps versus the Colorado Rapids.
And finally, to the last and final game of this third week, just like Chicharito, Vancouver also had a comeback to reality as well, losing 1-0 at home to the Colorado Rapids. But honestly, no shame in that though. On paper, Colorado looks extremely well-rounded, and now with the return of Vines and Abubakar, they look even stronger. All around, Colorado played a great game. We're strong in the back with Danny Wilson and Austin Trusty, and lethal when they had to be up top with Diego Rubio scoring the dagger. Kellen Acosta finally gets to play his natural position in the middle of the park, and you can definitely tell he looks much more comfortable there opposed to the left back position. Vancouver in this game just didn't create nearly enough chances. We always say if Vancouver wants to win, Cavallini has to produce, and in this game, unfortunately, he did not. Christian Dahome, though, had another stellar performance and has been top tier this season thus far. We'll see if Vancouver can get back on track next weekend against Montreal in an all-Canadian matchup.
Where are you gonna be, brother, when Bench Kings once again provides you with Week 3 commentary of what you missed in Major League Soccer? By the way, shout out to our brother, Drew Wells. Thank you for joining the Bench Kings Royals Loyals program and being a top-tier member and supporter since day one, brother. As always, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you Hulk smash that button. Oh,